Hey everyone, it's Liz and I'm back with another Plan With Me video to essentially go through my bullet journal and how I've chosen to set up my spreads to track different events through 2018. So let's just hop right into it. So I still have the bullet journal, the Lectrum 2017, if I believe right, with the dotted pages on the inside. I still absolutely love this for how easy it is to format my spreads and be able to keep them symmetrical. Let's go ahead and begin. My first spread that I have in here is actually my year overview, and I've seen a lot of people doing the calendar for each month, breaking down the days and the days of the week. But while I think that that's actually really beautiful, I just saw that as a lot more time taken in order to have it look pretty, where my biggest thing is I want this to be functional. As long as it's functional to begin with, then I will build out everything else. So I kept it simple and just put in the different blocks for each of the months, so that way as things come up I can fill it in to the month and be able to have that ready to go to be able to fill it in into my monthly spreads as I build them. So other than this, right at the beginning, I also have a page to track my New Year's resolutions. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on resolutions and how effective they are. I personally like to create resolutions more so because I see it as a great way to review the year that has just passed. What are the things that I've accomplished? What else do I have left to do that I didn't accomplish? And then essentially use it as a way to be mindful of how I'm living my life and how I want to continue living it going forward. So I do have my spread in here. I've been thinking about it, of what I would like to put in here, and so I will be building that out, but still thinking about it. I like to write it in along with my first thoughts on New Year's Eve right after midnight. That's kind of a family tradition, so looking forward to filling this spread out. But moving right along, my next one is actually my vision board for 2018. I very much like this kind of idea because whereas with resolutions, a lot of it is putting it into specific words, what it is that I want to accomplish or the things that I want to see or do. I feel like with the vision board, there are things that words can't always explain, and sometimes it's a feeling or anything along those lines, and I feel like a vision board is a great way to just kind of compile things without having to define it so clearly with words. You will note that there is a bit of a rose gold theme to all of the images, and that is simply because I am running out of ink and I didn't feel like switching it up. So I have my spread split up with personal and then professional on the other side. And so on this side, I do have different goals pertaining to spiritual, emotional, and mental growth, along with physical, and then also things that I want to accomplish, which involves travel and just kind of living a mindful life. And then on this side, I have things pertaining to my blog, for YouTube, music, and then also different challenges and things like that that I'm interested in. And so I did leave some space in order to build it out over the next few weeks or months as I continue to see more things that I want to have apply to my year and keep in my line of sight essentially for everything that I'm doing. So moving on to the next spread, I have pages to track for my reading and watch list. So whenever I read a book, I want to be able to track it here. I've been doing a mixture of autobiographies, memoirs, and then also novels and everything because I love novels. So I want to be able to track all of that here and be able to keep track of when I'm reading them, because I don't always read one book at a time. I've gotten to a point that I like kind of switching it up and reading multiple at the same time that might have similar perspectives or differing perspectives in order to have a more well-rounded view on different topics. And then for my watch list, any seasons that I start watching that I very much enjoy, or movies or anything along those lines, I want to be able to just keep an eye on it. Once again, to kind of build awareness of where I'm spending my time, what is the content that I'm consuming, and then from there, how is that content affecting my daily choices and what I choose to do moving forward. So moving on, the next spread I have goes into my professional spreads for 2018. All of this stuff has been more personal planning and everything, but going into this next one, it is especially dealing with my professional aspirations. So I haven't filled it out yet. I actually have a list going on a separate page, but just 2018 goals, and I'm going to have it to pertain to my blog, business, branding, building, and everything else, including my music and also YouTube and everything. So curious to see how it all comes together. But to help with the goals that I set out, I've also broken it down into 2 pages on the spread, one for actionable steps and then one for accomplishments. So taking the goals that I have set, I'm going to break them down into steps that I can do by quarter, and then I'm going to write down probably 1 to 2 quarters out at a time, and as I finish the actionable steps, I'm going to move them over to accomplishments and go from there. I do want to say I did a lot of research before doing my spreads because I am new to the game of building my business. I actually saw this kind of layout from Boho Berry. I will link her channel down below. I very much liked it. I love the idea of having a broad goal and then coming up with actionable steps that are smaller to do but easily attainable, because I believe that is how we stay motivated and actually get to the finish line. So after this spread, I also have my stats tracker, and I have it for my blog, for my music, and for this channel as well, including my Instagram subs, and I think I'm going to have a little section over here to track basic writing and everything because I want to do a bit more of that into this next year. And so I have it broken down based off of months. I do have some empty columns depending on things that I choose to continue to track going forward, but this is essentially all of this. I'm really excited to get all of this built out and fill it in and see how everything grows. And then the final spread that I have is for my big moments. And it's essentially an overview of whenever something happens that makes me excited for building out my blog and everything else, I want to write it here. It has been a hard process as it is the past few months, and what keeps me going is not beating myself up. I'm sure people can relate to that. And so I figured anytime something good happens, I want to write it down here. So when I'm having a tough day, when I'm being discouraged or anything like that, I can flip here and be able to look at all of the things that I've accomplished and see how they can add up over the course of this next year. So this is everything that I have for my 2018 spread. And I do have my January built out. I'm going to do that in a separate video at the same time that I review my December pages. This has been my plan with me for the 2018 new year. So I hope everyone has a safe and fun New Year's and a wonderful year ahead. And I will see you later. Bye.